Welcome back, everybody, to I opened 50 boxes and here's the gameplay. Enjoy it in the background while I ramble about something type video. Yes, that is right. I actually played this update. I know, I am very surprised too, but shout out to the chat for giving me the idea. I have to give full credits there. I honestly didn't think of this because this update is just, yeah, we'll get into that. As always, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, join my Discord, follow my Twitter, you know the drill. Let's get into this video. What I want to do is double back to my previous video. My previous video really talked about, in depth, my own personal opinion about this update, and the conclusion I ultimately came to, for those who didn't watch that video, was that this update is literally Season 10, but much lamer if you want to put it like that. It's like Season 10, but without, like, actually catching the zombies. But if you were to describe it to anybody, I would say it's like Season 10, but slightly worse. And that's the ultimate result I came to. Now, as I've said in numerous times in videos, I don't like to be super negative with LDUE. Obviously, I'm not there to complain about LDUE every single time, but when I look at this update, I genuinely am not a fan. Yes, I'm sure there are people who are excited about the skins, but for myself personally, I can't be excited about an update that just brings skins. Yes, I get the skin that changes up my gameplay. I can do the bunker with a different skin on. I guess that's cool. Maybe for like 10 minutes and then I get bored. At the core part of the game, and I feel like what a lot of my comments usually bring up as the counter argument to these sorts of claims that LDUE is good with the current version is you look at stuff like multiplayer, right? You look at multiplayer with regard to the lack of updates. The last multiplayer update was, I believe, 10 or 11 months ago, and still there has been zero word or any sign of that. And yet we get updates like this as the filler in between updates. And LDUE has been advertising it as mid-season update, which honestly terrifies me because one, mid-season is supposed to mean like mid-season in between season, like in between during the season, but this is mid-season as in spacing out seasons even more, which is sort of a shame because, yeah, I don't like seasons, but seasons are a driving factor to LDUE, whether I like it or not. People are going to show up to Last Day on Earth to play the seasons because they're excited to see what's there, and I can't blame anyone for it. I joined LDUE to see what the seasons are too. And oftentimes you get seasons like Season 3 or Season 16, more recent LDUE, that are actually good and exciting, but you also have, on the other hand, Season 17 or Season 10, like this update is, and that fall absolutely flat, with nobody remembering. Now, when I look at this update in the grand scheme of things, I know it's just meant to fill time, but, like, why can't you have a multiplayer update fill the time? I would usually make excuses and defend and say that multiplayer and single player, for those who don't know, are different teams. They are totally different, they work on different things. But it's been 10 months. You're telling me that in 10 months, not one little thing could have changed. Again, I don't know the behind-the-scenes stuff, and I don't think it's fair that I can really say. And under normal circumstances, I don't think it would be fair for me to make claims, because I don't know how the multiplayer stuff is. I don't know how difficult it is to code, so I honestly couldn't speak to that. But it's been 10 months. You would think that there would be something, even if it's just the skin redesign, or anything that would revive multiplayer, like, just one of those temporary items show up in a multiplayer, people would go completely crazy for it. But instead we get sad single player events like this, and people tend to forget, which is disappointing because these updates are supposed to build hype into the season. So for the next season, now one of the comments I did get, which was from my mod Franny, shout out to Franny, on my Discord server, but he said it in a different server, but I still think it's interesting to point out. The next update of the year, Season 18, that final update. They've released a tease for the backpack, yes. But what only makes me alarmed is, if you were to think about it, with the LDUE realism filter, if it were to be something like cities, or if it were to be something like a multiplayer update, or if it were to be something like PvP, or something, anything substantial, there would be teases about it if we put on the realism filter. But instead, the first tease we get about the updates is a backpack skin. Let that sink in for a minute. The first tease we get is a backpack skin. So how do you think Season 18 is going to go? I will leave that to the comments to decide. That's not for me to speak on in this video. Obviously, I'll do a video on Season 18 and the teasers there are, when that gets closer, and we'll take a look at that, and we'll see if my claim in this video, or I guess the comments claims in this video, hold to be true, because I am very interested to hear what the comments have to say on this one, right? If we applied the realism filter, we would think, right? Subscribe, ZD out.